In Pit Lane, brought to you by Online Invent, and with thanks to our Platinum Star Patreon supporters. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane, coming to you right across Melbourne on Channel 31 and of course the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, if indeed you are watching from that very portal. Now, coming up in the program a little bit later on, you know, we always say without the officials motorsport simply doesn't happen. Well, one of the most popular, one of the most high profile groups of officials are of course our flag marshals, and joining us a little bit later on in the program to talk all about the world of flag marshalling, and you can see some of it happening behind us on the monitor as well, is Suze Arnott from the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team. She is the president. She'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. Also, we've got some great music coming up a little bit later on in the program. To take us out will be Magdalia. She will be singing for us a little bit later on in the program. But singing for us right now is the man alongside me now. His name is Craig Doc Gladigo. G'day, Doc. How are we?
Good evening, Brett. Oh, what a wonderful night. Hello, everyone, as well, though, too. I'll be, don't think I'll be singing for my supper very much, but I can fly the flag, though, if we need to.
Well, there you go. So we don't know what flag it is yet, and hopefully it won't be one of those illegal ones. But whatever, he's going to be flying it a bit later on. So there's something to be grateful for. Speaking of things to be grateful for, look, I must say it hasn't been the biggest sort of week of motorsport around Australia and around. There's more stuff happened internationally, but stuff has certainly happened, and we're going to tell you all about it right now in the segment that we call the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. Well, Motorsport Australia have announced an operating loss for the previous financial year. The organisation posted a loss before tax of just over $500,000 and a post-tax deficit of just above $1 million. A major factor in the loss has been a substantial increase in the cost of insurance, with a rise of 36%. Motorsport Australia's new CEO and a man with a background in insurance, Sunil Vora, will be our guest here on In Pit Lane in 2 weeks' time, and he'll be discussing this and other issues affecting our sport.
Erebus Racing have denied reports that the team may be for sale. Rumours are a mill of a sales service last Monday on the website Speed Cafe. The rumours follow a turbulent start to the year for the defending series champions.
There was some actual racing happening, so let's check out some of it in this week's In Pit Lane International Wrap. Only 3 days after Anzac Day, it was an Antipodean 1-2 at the latest round of the IndyCar series at Barber Motorsport Park. Starting from the front row of the grid, Scott McLaughlin and Will Power ran a 3-stop strategy that absolutely paid off for a Team Penske Anzac Quinella. Rookie Linus Lundqvist was third. Last race winner, New Zealander Scott Dixon's race ended early on lap 18 when he was squeezed onto the grass by Graham Rahal. A strange incident occurred as a mannequin, part of Barber Raceway's unique trackside art, fell from a bridge, causing quite the fright for drivers who couldn't avoid the body. McLaughlin said later he was a little mad when he first believed that the mannequin was responsible for a caution period that put his lead under threat. He later saw the humour of it all, posing next to the now one-armed mannequin after the race. Reigning funny car world champion Matt Hagan picked up his 50th career victory on Sunday, driving past John Force, J.R. Todd and Daniel Wilkerson at Z-Max Dragway to set up the win at the 14th annual NHRA 4-Wide Nationals in Charlotte. Top Fuel points leader Justin Ashley capped off his stellar weekend with his first career 4-wide win, holding off Clay Millican, Doug Collitter and Antron Brown with a run of 3.7 seconds for the win. In Pro Stock, Greg Anderson added another Charlotte victory to his resume, driving past teammate Dallas Glenn, Aaron Stanfield and Christian Kudra to pick up his second victory of the season. And the prolonged break did nothing to slow down the domination of Gage Herrera in Pro Stock motorcycle as he took out his second straight win of the season. Dating back to last season, Herrera has now posted a remarkable 7 consecutive victories. Denny Hamlin clinched his third NASCAR Cup Series win at Dover Motor Speedway, holding off Kyle Larson in the Worth 400. Martin Truex Jr. finished third ahead of pole sitter Kyle Busch. Hamlin's win was set up after the race's final restart, following a big 3-car crash involving Bubba Wallace, William Byron and Christopher Bell. Over in Europe, it was the opening round of the DTM at Oschersleben. Jack Aitken secured his second career victory by emerging victorious in race 1 after Marco Wittmann lost his chance for the win due to mechanical issues towards the end of the race. Driving the Ferrari 296 GT3, Aitken led home Mirko Bortolotti's Lamborghini by just over 2 seconds in the 1-hour season opener on Saturday. Sunday's race saw Luca Engslab claim his first DTM victory after holding off the experienced Maro Engel. Engsel's Lamborghini crossed the line only 0.03 of a second ahead of Engel's Mercedes AMG after both drivers jumped into the lead thanks to a well-timed pit stop under full course yellow. Race 1 winner Jack Aitken was out early in the race after a multi-car collision on the opening lap, while fellow Ferrari driver Thierry Vermeulen also crashed out after contact with Rene Rast. Lucas Stoltz finished third, while pole sitter Mirko Bortolotti saw his race ruined after a botched pit stop. Well, it was a thriller in last Sunday's Spanish MotoGP at Jerez as Francesco Bagnaia just held off the challenge of Marc Marquez to lead home an all-Ducati podium. Starting from 7th on the grid, Magdalia made an amazing start to be 4th at turn 1 and in the lead at the end of the opening lap. But Marquez refused to accept second, fighting all the way to the flag, failing by only 0.03 of a second to take the win. Marco Bezzecchi was third, with Ducatis filling the first 5 places. It was unfortunately another tough race for Aussie Jack Miller after he was taken out of the race by Ducati rider Franco Morbidelli. Miller was absolutely furious, but stewards called the contact a racing incident. The stewards were wrong. Now we're going to take a break here on In Pit Lane, but when we come back we're going to find out all about the world of flag marshalling, how you can become involved and what in fact the role of a flag marshal is. That's when In Pit Lane returns right after this break.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Bezzecchi, yeah. Dahlia.
Marco
Bezzecchi.
Yes. Now, can we have Brody have Magdalia into position, please, for her first song?
Did you see?
And we'll also bring Suze on as well. We'll do that.
Sorry, I'm getting off the subject.
Yeah, so let's focus. We're a bit all over the place tonight, so our apologies.
Did you watch the sprint race though?
No, I didn't.
They all just half the bloody riders all fell off the track. They did. It was weird.
So there you go. And we might as well get Suze into position as well, if we could, rather than.
We need some company.
Yeah, we need some company.
And I need to move when Suze comes over.
There,
so you need to do that school chair thing, annoying where they scrape.
There you are.
Absolutely, make yourself comfortable.
So
Suze, closer, further away.
Suze is joining us now, and you'll hear from her a little bit later on. Yes, we must say once again a huge thank you to our friends at Online Invent who keep this program on the air right throughout this season and previously. We really do appreciate Roy and all of his support for the program and for local motorsport. You know, I've said before, if you're doing anything online, I went to another site just recently and I looked at this is a major organisation, and I checked out their news site because I wanted to get some updates for the news, and found
plagiarism.
Was found out that they hadn't updated their website since 2017, and yet this is a major international organisation as well. If you're going to have an online presence, make sure that it's professional and it's going to sort of reflect on your organisation well, because otherwise there's no point having it at all. You might as well just get rid of it. And that's where Online Invent can come in. Roy can have a look at your website, he can redesign it, he can make sure that it fits all of the requirements for things like SEO, which of course, Doc, is...
Search engine optimization.
Thank you. So that's what that is. So Roy knows all about that, and he'll be able to tell you what's happening there, and bring your business, your club, your organisation, your event up to speed. Because, you know, as I said, if you're going to be online, you might as well have a site that works. Otherwise, you might as well not waste your time with it.
You've just brought up a very pertinent point. Then the funniest thing is,
I was hoping I wouldn't, but there you go.
Oh no, yes, that's all right. Keep it under the desk as well, too, please. Just.
Oh, I am.
This is a family-friendly program. The point he made though is everyone always gets a laugh. You go to a website and the first thing you look at and you see 2017 when it hasn't been updated, then you think, why am I bothering?
This was news. This was a major racing organisation, and I was trying to get some information from them, and I went there and I went, news. There we are.
Well, you can get,
I looked down, and it was like, hang on, that's old news, and it was like the latest post 2017. They just put it up there and said, there you go, we got a website now. And forgot about it.
That's news 7 years ago though. So, anywho, but yeah, no, you always do. When you check out someone's website, you look at the date on it and you get, why am I bothering? Let's go find something else.
Anyway, that's thanks to Online Event. As I said, they've kept us on the air this year. So thanks to Roy and Online Event for their support of In Pit Lane and RMITV Student Television. Now, tonight, our musical guest artist is Magdalia. Her music can be found on Spotify. She's also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, for as long as TikTok is allowed to exist in this country. She's at Magdalia Music. So as a bonus track here on In Pit Lane, let's hear from Magdalia with Great Expectations. Magdalia.
Against all my reason, I've been all that I could be. Got a heart that has been hardened, and eyes full of sleep. Now in the face of my frustration, with all the life I've seen, there's nothing left to give, nothing left of the old me. Trying to learn, but I don't know. What are things that never grow, going round in circles? Wanna do it my own way, mentally but made to stay, never ending hurdles. Great expectations only get you so far. You become something else instead of who you are. Great expectations only lead to heartache. There's nothing left to lose when there's nothing left to break. There's nothing left to lose when there's nothing left to break. You've only seen the best of me in the love I can provide, but there's so many other things that I have had to hide. Now I've had faith in my frustration, with all the life I've seen, but there's nothing left to give, and there's nothing left to see. Bent and broken out of shape, made me better anyway, going round in circles. Don't fall behind, don't make mistakes, hold your ground and don't you shake, never ending hurdles. Great expectations only get you so far. You become something else instead of who you are. Great expectations only lead to heartache. There's no
Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, you know, you hear it every time that there's a commentary, whether it's supercars, whether it's the Grand Prix, whether it's major international events like the Le Mans 24 Hours, or even stuff like the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship, or a lap sprint, a club sprint down at Phillip Island or up at Winton or something. There is no sport without the marshals. Without the volunteer marshals, then basically all those people who drive the $600,000 plus cars have got basically nowhere to run. And sometimes we take it for granted. And I mean, and it does take a lot of people to make these events work. One of the high-profile groups of volunteer marshals are, of course, our flag marshals. They're the people who basically, they're the conduit between what happens out on the track and race control, and they're there to keep the drivers and the public and everybody safe. And joining us tonight is the president of the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team. She is Suze Arnott. Suze, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Dot.
Now let's talk about the flag marshalling team. How many people are in it at the moment?
We've got upwards of 160, I think, from last memory. We've got our committee meeting later in the week, so I'll find out the up-to-date numbers. But yeah, so we've had a big influx, which has been really good, and now we just need to keep working on keeping them coming back.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, because we discussed it before the program. I've discussed it with a lot of the flaggies, you know, at the track over the recent times as well. We seem to have, you know, we've got more and more, not only more and more meetings happening from more and more organisations and promoters and the like, but we've also got longer and longer meetings. I mean, they're stretching into, you know, 2-day meetings have become 3-day meetings, becoming 4-day meetings. We've got coming up with the supercars at Wanneroo in Perth. I think the first race kicks off at about 8 in the morning. They don't cross the checkered flag for the last race until about 7 o'clock at night. And you guys are there, and you're not there for you don't just turn up. I mean, it's like doing this show. People think, oh, we just turn up and, you know, with 10 minutes and we flick a switch and it all happens. What time, go through a day, something like the Grand Prix, what sort of a day are you guys putting in?
The Grand Prix, we're there before the sun rises, which is a challenge getting through the car park without tripping over, and only finish after sunset, so heading back to the car in the dark as well.
So what, it's like a 12-hour plus day?
It was definitely over 12 hours this year. I think we got there, sign on some days was before 6 and only finishing after 7 on other days.
They need ice baths sometimes at the end of those 12-hour days. I bet the legs and the feet will be absolutely aching.
Absolutely, and depending on how far away from the must area you are as well. So yeah, the days are challenging, and it's a challenge to get the people who come along for their first event at the Grand Prix.
Because they're not all the glamorous ones though either, are they, Sue?
No, that's it.
Grand Prix is the glamorous ones, but there's a
Exactly.
lot of other events that need obviously catering for.
And for when you've got the longer days, if like at the Grand Prix, you've got a cast of millions, it's fantastic. You can have a break in most situations. But at the smaller meetings where you might only have 1 or 2 people on a point, if you've got a really, like you were saying, the Wanneroo long day, then it just gets unwieldy and very difficult as an official.
You guys are taken for granted. I mean, I remember a certain high-profile figure within the world of supercars, who we'll just call Tony, didn't really seem to have, you know, a great deal of respect for you guys. I mean, it was just almost, you know, you should be grateful to be almost be allowed out there. But I mean, you can understand. I've always said you can understand for at the state level, or even at things like the Shannon's Nationals and the Speed Series as it is now. But for events like the Grand Prix, the MotoGP, and the supercar events, these are multi-million-dollar events that a lot of people are making an awful lot of money out of, and yet you guys, I mean, at the end of the day, you get some, you know, sausages and a can of warm beer if you're lucky. Does that get annoying?
On the most part, most of the drivers are fantastic. They regularly on our socials will say thank you for being out there, particularly if it's been a really hard day, raining or heat. And the thing is, the job's not easy, standing trackside in all kinds of weather, but it's what keeps us coming back to trying different things. What else?
Would it be fair to say that not all the high-profile, glamorous meetings don't necessarily you're going to get to diversify your skills a little bit sometimes as well, though too. Obviously, say if you go down to Phillip Island for the historics or Winton up there for the classics or something like that, you're going to get more of a chance to get to try a role or do some different things over different days as well too. Would that be categorised well?
To some extent, and I think actually it's the flip side, because with a lot of the big events like the Speed Series and even some of the state rounds using Better Impact, you can select where you want to work. So you may have come in as a flag marshal and gotten the bug, and then you choose where you want to go. So we've had some people experiment with going into pit lane or going into marshalling or going into, and one of the lovely girls who joined us at Supercars last year said, oh, actually I like doing not marshalling, paddock, because I get to see all the drivers and, I get to see them.
I'm going to get my positive shovel out for a second. We've just talked about some of the things that can be difficult in the sport, though. Give us some incentives. What's some of the best days and best things? Come on, it's not all glamour and all gumboots every day.
No, well that's it, and we present your training, your track craft, and so develop your skills along the way. So at the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team, we do like to make sure that we are creating experienced officials so that they can slot into other roles. My role most of the time at the race meetings now is up in race control. I'm the voice in people's heads, and
the fairy godmother.
I am the. But we've got other people who've become clerks of course. We've got people who are stewards, and so it opens up. Just joining the VFT or joining any of the officialing clubs, you can try some different roles and experience different things different ways, so it's good. But the flagging's great too. There's sometimes, and I do still go and wave a flag, and some of the nicest times is standing on a flag point by yourself, just being all zen and waving the flags as the cars come past.
The voice inside my head at the moment is saying that we've got to take a break, but stay with us and we'll find out more about the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team in just a moment. You're watching In Pit Lane on Channel 31. We'll be back with more with Suze Arnott, and also Magdalia will be playing us out a little bit later on in the program. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, and once again, thank you to Online Invent. Incidentally, thank you also to our Patreon supporters as well. They really do a lot to help keep us on the air as well. As we say every week, I mean, this like the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team, this program and all the programs you see here from RMI TV, none of us get paid for this. There's no sort of money pouring in. So when we go out and we do events, like at places like Winton and Phillip Island and all the rest, it does cost quite a bit of money.
We pay for it. We pay with our blood, sweat and tears.
We pay for it, all right.
And we usually get a water which comes down from the heavens.
Yes, so but I mean, it's great with us. This is the reason we're all volunteers. We're all in this together, and we enjoy doing it. However, I mean, there are actual costs involved in putting the program on every week, and we really do thank our Patreon supporters. They're a small group of people, but they really do have done a really fabulous job.
And the whisper is they'll get one of their favourite programs back on tomorrow night, won't they?
If you're watching us on Facebook at the moment, Facebook Live behind the scenes, as we say, this is not the program. This is the recording of the program. Thank God. But you will tomorrow night. Full Course Yellow will be back on the air every Wednesday night live at 8:30 on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel and also on the Facebook page as well. That's when me and Doc and Pete and Richard Outram, Dave Stillwell, Mark Jones, a whole bunch of us get together and just basically have a bit of a water cooler chat about the world of motorsport and other things.
There's some goddamn juicy stuff to talk about this week. Formula One, supercars rumours.
Yeah, all sorts of
insurance costs are going up around the world. Yeah,
yes,
wouldn't believe it what we're going to be talking about this week.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about all.
And I've got
sorts
some
of things.
MotoGP this week too, because I was talking to Brett and he hasn't seen it yet. There was a sprint race, which is pretty controversial, like the Formula One sprint races. But in the MotoGP, they had one on the weekend over at Jerez, and for some unknown reason, there was nothing on the track, but bikes just kept on falling it off the left, right, and centre. So I want to try and address that and find out what happened there.
Okay, well, that's something for tomorrow night, 8:30 on, if you're watching us live on Full Course Yellow on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Also, I'll just say very quickly, we are coming towards the end of this first season of In Pit Lane before we go into winter hibernation. That doesn't mean we go away completely. We've got stuff happening online on a regular basis. Full Course Yellow will continue on most weeks. Also, we'll have some extended interviews. We'll have some international stuff and also stuff on location, including coming up the Winton Historic, the Austin 7 Car Club Winton Historic. Also, next week, no, probably the week after, we got. If you remember Motor Classica and remember that with any sense of fondness, stay tuned because over the next couple of weeks there's some very, very big news coming up. But I can't say anything about that at the moment. But we'll hope if not next week, the week after. We will find out. We'll find out next week or the week after, as soon as they get permission to sort of spill the beans. Okay, so we're going to say as soon as the team in the control room are ready, we will come back again, and Matilda will count us down, and we'll catch up with.
How long have we got as well too?
Susan, yes. How long have we got? Do we know how long we've got, Matilda?
We've got 4 minutes.
4 minutes for the interview, and.
Yes, 4 minutes. 4 minutes for the interview.
Thank you. Okay,
and
terrific.
thank Ness for the 1 minute send off. We heard him here before. Perfect.
Yes. Okay, so yes, well, when we're ready, count us down. Thanks.
That'd be great.
Okay. Yep. Thanks for that.
Good.
Okay. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, joining us tonight is our special guest, Susan Arnott, the president of the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team. And we talked about sort of, some of the highlights and some of the events that you can do with, like everything from, club sprints all the way through to the Australian Grand Prix. But it's not just sort of locally, isn't it? Because, you have members of the Victorian Flag Marshalling Team flagging all over the world. Tell us how that works.
We've all you need is a letter from your association, so from Motorsport Australia, to say that you
and
are
it's very cheap, so they don't ask for much at all.
at a particular level, yeah. Just you apply. So we've got people who go to Singapore regularly. We've had a few at Le Mans. Gone over to Miami and I'm not sure if they went to Las Vegas, but a few.
They pop up everywhere.
And one of the young guys went to a few last year. They went to New Zealand for the supercars the other week as well.
It's like a working holiday.
It absolutely is. Like we had
international sort of community, isn't it? Because I know you mentioned Le Mans before. Our mate Christian Schmidt, who he's done Le Mans on many occasions. As was Roger Churnside, of course. We caught up with Roger at the man in the hat, with the hat, and they've made sort of these incredible friendships for people all over the world, and it's like people come over here, they do the Grand Prix, they do the 12-hour. It is a great international community, isn't it?
And that's what's beautiful. Like, it's chaos in March with all of the big events that we've got, but people will come over for the Classic and then stay for the Grand Prix as well, and so it's lovely to see the same faces coming out from England or Singapore or Bahrain. One of my, I'm a sector marshal at the Grand Prix, and one of my team was from UAE and had just done the Bahrain and the other Grand Prix over there.
Brett just stole a bit of my thunder. I'm going to touch on the social side is incredible. Brett and I fortunate enough, we've got our letters prepared, you just have to fill in the blanks when we go with you anyway. But the social side of things, like when we go to Phillip Island or other events that are close by or outside Victoria, we have a wonderful time having a catch-up at the end of those days. It's usually earlier on the weekend, but the social side's wonderful, isn't it? You get to the stories you get to tell and share and have some fun. And
that's it. And particularly for places like Phillip Island, when most of us are away, or if we're up at Winton, we like to catch up for dinner, and so it does become a family. And that's always saying we've had such a big influx of really young people. I looked around at the Porsche 360 the other day and I've gone, I think the average age of our officials has dropped by about 30 years. It was good to see, because the average age for officials when I started was 60, 70. And so having a lot of younger people, and we were looking at them at the Grand Prix and thinking, there's the future of our club. It's
now,
awesome.
just quickly, if there are any of those young people out there, anybody of any age who want to join and become a part of this and get really close and hands-on with the world of motorsport, how do they get in contact with you? How do they make it happen? On
our website, which is vicflag.org.au, go along to the How to Join link. Our page is very up to date, and well, some of it is. And I've got some cards that I may have prepared earlier for you. There you go, you can have those. We've got some QR codes and
I'll take
things.
one of those. I might be able to do some magic when in post-production, and we can whack that up on the screen for you a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Hey, Suze, thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate it. Doc, don't even try it. There, I'll put that up later. Suze, thanks for joining us. As without the officials of Alto, but the flags are, they're a really dedicated bunch, and without them, of course, as I said, it's not just the same. Without you guys and all the other volunteer marshals, the racing just doesn't happen. So thank you for all you do for the sport. And for now, Suze Arnott, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to you for joining us at home. Now, just very quickly on a personal note, I'll just point out that if you watch the program every week and you read the end credits, you will see at the end of the credits every week the words for Melissa. As it turns out, today, as we go to air on Channel 31, is the 5th anniversary of Melissa's passing. I just wanted to acknowledge that. Now, joining us to take that, as I've said before on the program, one of the things that Melissa always loved on the program was our music, and I'm sure she would be wrapped in our music tonight, because joining us right now is Magdalia, and she's going to take us out. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Magdalia Music, and she's going to take us out tonight with her song Fault Lines. Ladies and gentlemen, until we see you next week, here's Magdalia and Fault Lines. Night, everybody.
We've been living on the edge, trying not to fall apart. But the clock still goes even when we fight with everything we got. The earth beneath our feet can't help itself but shake, and the fault lines form and they never seem to fade away. We had so much power, we had so much love. Just look at us now, we're running out of time, because the world had its say, cracks began to show. When it fell apart, we could never seem to let it go. That weight on our shoulders was unbearable to take. Those fault lines formed, nothing we could do but let it break. Oh, let it break. Nothing we could do but let it break. Guess we fell through the cracks of our own design, and the world had said you were never meant to shine. All the crazy dreams that we kept inside our head, They fade with time, but they're never gone until you're dead. We had so much power, we had so much love. Just look at us now, we're running out of time because the world had its say, and the cracks began to show. When it fell apart, we could never seem to let it go. That weight on our shoulders was unbearable to take. Those fault lines formed, nothing we could do but let it break. Oh, let it break. Nothing we could do but let it break. Oh, let it break. Nothing we could do but let it break. We could never seem to let it go. That weight on our shoulders was unbearable to take. Those fault lines formed, nothing we could do but let it break. The world had its say, and the cracks began to show. When it fell apart, we could never seem to let it go. That weight on our shoulders was unbearable to take. Those fault lines formed, nothing we could do but let it break. Oh, let it break. Nothing